Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year's, and welcome to the the January 5th virtual meeting of Chatham's Historic Business District Commission. My name is Daniel Silva, and hopefully this meeting will unfold as follows. As soon as Sarah Clark, a Central Permitting Coordinator, reads the Governor's directive concerning these meetings, we'll move on to a roll call. As soon as the roll call is done, our first order of business will be the minutes. As soon as the minutes are approved, we'll move on to the application. When our clerk, Sam Stribert, reads your application, we ask that you speak up and let your presence be known. Take it from there. All right, so Sarah, would you like to start us off?
Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. This meeting of the Historic Business District Commission is being conducted remotely in accordance with Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and shall afford adequate alternative means of public access via Microsoft Teams by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 938-194-800 #, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access and will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we'll go for a roll call. We have a Vice Chair, Darcy Seguin.
Darcy Seguin is here.
Our clerk, Sam Stribert.
Sam Stribert is here.
Regular member, Bob Burns.
Bob Burns is here.
Regular member, Doug Grattan.
Doug Grattan is here.
Okay, our first alternate, Steve DuBois.
Steve DeBoer is here.
Okay, we have not heard from our second alternate, Janet Whittemore, yet, but when she comes in, we'll recognize that. My name is Daniel Silver, and I am the current chairman. As I said, we have a quorum. So as I said, the first order of business will be the minutes, and those are of, if you can believe it, December 1st, 2021. Any comments from the members? Any additions?
Doug Grattan will make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Darcy Seguin will second the motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. We'll go right on to voting. Darcy?
Darcy's in favor.
Sam Stribert?
Sam Stribert approves.
Bob Burns?
Bob Burns approves.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan approves.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DeBoer approves.
Okay, Janet is not with us, and I was not there, so I can't vote, but the minutes have been approved. Okay, now move on to our first application, Sam.
The first application is for a sign, 21-097, Compass Inland Grover, care of Matthew Anderson. Application to install a ground sign located at 856 Main Street. And the Sarah Clark, the Central Permitting Coordinator, has produced a memo whereby the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw, with the finding.
Excellent, thank you, Sam. That's a good start. All right, do we have anybody here representing the applicant? Anybody at all?
You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. Kiwi Signs, and I'm representing my customer, Kinlan Grover and Compass Realty, for their new freestanding sign and their new wall sign, which are the same size as the existing signs, and there's not too much changed, actually. They're still black and white. I believe the old signs had a little gold in them. So that's not to be in the sign itself. The shell and the number that's at the top of the sign remain the same. And we're just adding a carved and painted panel to each side of the existing freestanding sign. And then the wall sign, the same. We will be removing the wall sign, the existing wall sign, and replacing it with a sign that is the same size, painted and carved.
Okay, we'll deal with the ground sign first. So we have a picture here, Sarah. All right, we'll start with Darcy.
You cut out there a little bit. Did you say that the lettering was going to be gold? I didn't quite hear you there. No?
No, sorry. The lettering's going to be V carved and it will be painted white. The only thing that paints gold on the sign will be the shell on the top of the sign, and 856 numbers will remain on the top of the sign in gold.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sam,
Yes, what are the uprights? Are they natural wood or,
The uprights stained white 4x4 wood, yes. Pressure treated wood.
but they're wood colored? Or are they white?
Oh, you can't see the image that you're looking at, but they're currently stained white, yes.
Okay.
okay, Bob Burns.
I have no questions, thanks.
Okay, Doug Grattan.
I'm not sure, is this sign going to be lighted?
So there's two spotlights in the garden that illuminate the sign.
So they shoot up from the ground?
Exactly. You can see them just in the image there, right where the hand is. Yep.
All right, that's the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay, this is Dan Silver, the chairman. You're not proposing to add any additional lighting, are you?
No, just replacing the
Okay,
panels.
you're not changing and you're not changing the size of the sign, correct?
Not changing the sizes. That is correct.
Okay, Steve.
I have no questions. Everything's been answered. Thank you.
Okay, Janet's not with us, and I've asked my questions. All right, Doug.
Doug Grant would like to make a motion under signs, application 21-097, Compass, Kinlan Grover, care of Matthew Anderson, application to install a ground sign located at 856 Main Street as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
All right, folks, thank you very much. We have a motion that's made and seconded. All right, are there any further questions from the commission? Anybody? No? All right, then we'll go on to vote. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Okay, Sam Schreiber?
Sam Stryver in favor.
Bob Burns?
Bob Burns in favor.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DeBoer's in favor.
Okay, Janet's still not with us, and Dan Silver is in favor. Very good. Thank you.
Doug Grant's in favor also.
Doug, how did I miss you?
That's
Get you
okay.
checked off here. Okay, buddy. Sorry about that. Next time, kick
No
me under the chair. I have to use Sarah's little checklist here. I got it, Sarah. There. All right.
Dan,
Dan.
voting today will just be on the applications, will just be the regular members. So Steve won't be voting
Yeah.
unless someone has to recuse.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
That's okay. I understand.
All right.
We voting or not?
Yes, we are. Okay, Darcy?
Darcy
thought we
Sequin in
did this.
favor.
Okay. Sam?
Sam Stryver approves.
Okay, Bob?
Bob Burns approves.
Okay, Doug Grattan?
Doug Grant approves.
Steve DuBois?
Well, I would approve if I could.
I know, but I like to hear that anyway. Janet Whittemore, she's not with us. And Dan Silver approves. Very good. Okay. That's the regular members plus one. All right, Sam, where are we?
We've got the second half of this 21-098. Compass Inland Grover, care of Matthew Anderson. application to install a wall sign on the structure located 856 Main Street. And the sign coordinator has the ground sign, the roof sign, has has said that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw.
All righty, Sam, thank you very much. Matt, what can you tell us?
Okay, so this is going to be pretty much the same as the freestanding sign, but it's wall mounted panel, carved and painted the same exact. And yeah, it looks like it has some little uprights that are on the wall, so it's externally lit. And that's about it. Pretty straightforward.
Okay, Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see. Darcy?
I have no questions.
Okay, Sam?
Basically, it's the same sign. It's just been made to fit in this triangular pediment. I have no. It's just a black sign with white letters. I have no particular questions.
All right. Bob?
No further questions. That looks good. Thank you.
Okay. Doug?
I have no further questions.
All right, Steve?
I have no questions.
Okay, Janet's still not with us, and I have no questions. All right, Doug.
All right, so Doug Grant would like to make a motion under signs, application 21-098, Compass Kinlan Grover, care of Matthew Anderson, application to install a wall sign on the structure located at 856 Main Street as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Anybody have any further comments or questions? No? Okay, then we'll vote. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin votes in favor.
Pam Stryber?
Pam Stryber votes to approve.
Bob Burns?
Bob Burns votes to approve.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan votes to approve.
Okay, and Steve, if you were a regular member, what would you do?
I would approve.
Very good, thank you. Janet's still not with us, but I will approve as well. Dan Silver. Very good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
You
Thank
too.
you. Thank you for making that easy. All right, Sam, moving on.
We have another sign, 21-099, Andrew Abu, Realtors, care of Jane Abu. Application to install a ladder board to the existing ground sign located at 878 Main Street. And the sign coordinator states that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw.
All right, do we have a representative here?
Yes, we do. I'm Jane
So-
Gaviu. Good
Oh,
afternoon.
Jane, hi.
Hi
Good
there.
afternoon, Jane. Welcome.
Thank you.
What can
So
you-
we are
what can
we
you-
are a small business located in our first office is in Northborough, Massachusetts. We've been residents of Chatham for over 20 years. And we now have 2 agents who are living full-time on the Cape. So we've decided to open a real estate office on the Cape. And we found space at 878 Main Street, and that is our logo right there on the sign. Is there any questions that I can answer? The sign's already there and it is already lit.
And you're not planning on changing the side or adding lights, right?
Nope, it's all there. We're just adding that piece to it.
Okay, let's find out what's going on. I'm sure there'll be some questions here. Darcy?
I think the colors are fine. I just have a question. Why the circle? Is there a reason? I must.
We've had that question quite a bit. That's actually part of our logo, and there's a very long and lengthy branding explanation for it,
Oh, that's okay.
but it's basically what comes around goes around.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, thank you.
All right, Sam?
Well, I think the sign certainly in keeping with as a ladder sign. The brown kind of pulls it out by itself. I wish it were more compatible with the blues and the white, but I think and the typeface is a bit different. But on the whole, it distinguishes itself, so I'd be voting for it.
Okay, Sam, thank you. Bob?
I think the sign looks fine, and I believe the brown color is in conjunction with your office in Northborough. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so the consistency is good, so I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Okay, Doug?
Looks great. I don't have any questions.
Okay, Steve, do you have any questions?
No, I have no further questions. They've been asked. Thank you.
Okay, Janet is still not with us.
Yes.
I agree with Sam. It would be nice to have all the colors that, on the main sign and the ladder sign the same, but it's all right. It's not offensive at all. The a little addition is a little confusing, the circle, but I understand what it was about now. All right, Doug?
Doug Grant will make a motion under signs, application number 21-099, Andrew Abu, Realtor, care of Jane Abu, application to install a ladder board to the existing ground side located at 878 Main Street, as presented.
Darcy Sequin will vote. I'm sorry, will second the motion.
All right, motion was made and seconded. Any further questions or comments?
I have a quick question, Jane. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's long A, long U, so it's Abu.
Okay, I want to make sure I say that correctly. Thank you. Okay, no other questions for me.
All right, then, we'll go on to voting. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin votes to approve.
Sam?
Sam Stradford votes to approve.
Okay, Bob?
Bob Burns votes to approve.
Okay, Doug Grattan?
Doug Grant votes to approve.
Okay, and let's see, Steve, any comments? Would you?
No, I have no
right
other
with it?
comments on it, and I would have voted to approve.
Okay. Okay, Jenna's not with us, but I am, so I approve it as well. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, Sam.
I'm here. Late,
Yes.
but here.
You're still with us. Don't leave yet. Sam?
Okay, the final sign is the 21-100, Andrew Abu, Realtors, care of Jane Abu, application to install a roof sign to the structure located at 878 Main Street, Unit B. And the sign coordinator, the central permitting coordinator, has stated that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw.
All right, Jane, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that the sign that we initially put in the package is a little bit bigger, and we've sized it down to the size that Sarah's currently showing. It is the same colors as on the ladder sign. Those are our logo colors. It will be lit with they're very low profile lights that just light the sign. They sit right on top of the sign and light it, and there's also a bracket that goes behind. There's the bracket, and that will be holding the sign. That is the very, that's the lighting. And those are going to be like in a bronze color, so they basically disappear when they are not lit. The sign is 20 inches tall by 11 feet long. And that's the side of the building.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Darcy?
I think the sign looks great, and I think the lights, what you've chosen, have they really look perfect for the area. Thank you very much.
Sam?
Are the brackets to be painted or left natural? Or are they galvanized?
You know, it's a good question. I would like them, the whole idea is that the brackets will disappear. So I will probably defer to the sign installer on that. When we did it on our own building, we chose to make the brackets brown because they blended really well. So we would take that approach.
Well, black would be the most recessive, but brown would sort of coordinate with the sign. I'd recommend you do black to eliminate.
And that would be fine with us.
Okay.
Okay, Bob?
I like the sign, and if you could do black or brown on the brackets, that would be great. Thank you.
Doug?
Looks great. I have no questions.
Okay, Steve? Comment?
I like the sign, and I'm glad to see that it was reduced somewhat in size. The height was changed a little bit in the width because the original proposal blocked most of those second-story windows, and it looked a little odd. So I'm glad to see that the sign was reduced in size a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Janet is still not with us, as far as I
Oh,
know.
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, Janet, hello.
I'm sorry, I just had trouble hooking up. But I'm here. I also agree with Sam about the color. I don't care for the color brown. I think black and white shows itself. And I have one other comment. I don't like the change in the font from what is it, Andrew? If I'm saying Abu, in the realtors. I'm wondering if those could be like, you know, it just you wonder who this company is, and you can hardly read the realtors on top. I'm wondering if the same font should be used, the size of the font. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. And the only question I have is for the owner, for Jane. You are willing to make these two changes, the color of the brackets and the font changes?
I'm
Yes.
actually on the line. Hello. Hi, I'm Evelyn
Okay.
Granger.
Oh,
Hi. I was listening in, and I actually, if I could just give my 2 cents in terms of the brackets, I like the approach of the brackets that kind of disappear, only because those 2 windows are, it's a condo. And if you look out and you see industrial brackets, I prefer to have something that disappears, but if the town prefers black, who am I? I'm all for it.
Well, you're a resident and you count.
Yeah, and we know, just to add in too, I know the history of the signs at that space too. So I think Jane has done a wonderful job accommodating, changes, for that space.
Artie, once again, could you please tell us your name?
My name is Evelyn. The last name is Granger.
Oh, Evelyn, hello. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So Jane, are you willing to make those changes or for the
Yes,
sign
absolutely.
bracket? Okay, and then, all right. All right, Doug, this may be a little confusing for you, but you understand what's going on here? The
Let's
conditions?
recap, Dan. So I'm going to do it, and we're going to have the brackets. What color?
I believe black was what most people wanted.
All right, black brackets,
brown, I don't know.
and then you want the font on Realtors to change as well. You want that as presented. I don't know if we can
Janet?
actually change the Realtor,
I'm,
the font. Darcy, is
can
raising
I
your
just
hand.
pipe in here? I think it's, I'll see what the other commissioners think, but I think the sign is fine the way it is. I would vote to approve the way it is.
Me too.
And Bob agrees, do it as it is.
Yep.
So do it.
There you
So
go.
as presented with black brackets, Dan.
I
All right,
believe
so
so.
all right, so Doug Grattan's going to make a motion for application 21-10 Andrew Abu Realtors, care of Jane Abu, application to install a roof sign on the structure located at 878 Main Street, Unit B, as presented with the exception of black brackets for the sign.
Thank you, Doug.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Now we'll go on. Any further comments or questions? Anybody? Okay, we'll go on to voting. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin is in favor.
Okay, Sam?
Sam Stryver approves.
Bob?
Bob Burns approves.
Doug?
Doug Grattan approves.
Okay, Steve, any comments?
No comments, but I would approve.
Okay, Janet?
Janet, no comments. Thank you.
Okay, Dan Silva. This is actually, we're voting now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have, Janet, you have no comments. Very, Dan Silva approves as well. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Chatham.
Thank you.
All right. Sam,
So now we have the alteration category 21 and application number 21-095, Chatham Manor, care of Andrew Grattan. Application to alter the structure located at 791 Main Street.
Dan, I will be recusing myself, but I will be with Andrew to answer questions.
okay. Steve, this is your chance to jump in.
Oh, boy. Okay, I'm on it.
No, oh, DeVore. All righty. Okay. Let's see. We still have, let's see, Andrew. Andrew here? Oh,
I
there he
am
is.
present.
How you
Can you
doing?
hear
What
me
can you
okay?
tell us? Yeah.
We just have to mute the other computer because we're in the same room. How are you today?
I am well. How about yourself? What can you tell us?
Good, thank you. So I apologize, I'm traveling, so I don't have all of the documents right in front of me, but so essentially what we're going to be doing is, Sarah has it there, thank you. We want to be altering the front of the building, so we're going to be replacing the roof, the cedar shakes, as well as repainting the vinyl siding, or I'm sorry, I believe it's wooden siding in the front, like the right side of the building, so that's going to be repainted as well as adding shutters to those 4 windows on the right side of the building. And there's a couple other things too as well, including like replacing a couple windows and then the front door as well.
The color is going to be?
So for the clapboard, we're going to be painting it white, and then the shutters are going to be blue.
Okay. I think that will look nice.
Certainly.
All right,
our-
Darcy.
I'd love to give Doug a hard time, but I don't think I can. It looks pretty good to me. You're gonna use pewter gray on the roof.
Yep.
Clapboards are gonna be white. Looks fine to me.
All
Awesome.
right, Sam?
In the packet, there's several windows that were proposed. They don't clarify whether they're 6/6s or 4/4s and which windows are which.
Yes.
So-
So when we were looking for the exact types, we were kind of struggling with finding the grids that matched exactly. So the manufacturer recommended to us that we would have to have the grids specially ordered, but we would be matching what is existing in place.
Okay, so there's the structure on the, you're not touching the big bay windows.
No, just the right side of the building, the smaller windows.
So it'd be two.
Around the corner. Two windows around the corner. So those
Yes.
will be 6/6, and so with the same, they'll all be 6/6 that you're replacing. So
I believe so. The
for-
bottom two are going to be 6/6, and then the top two is 2/2.
2/2.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. The door will be a 6-panel door.
Yes.
Okay. So you say you're going to remove the columns,
Yes.
and presumably you're going to have to do some framing to do that.
Yeah, we were investigating that, and more than likely, if we were to remove the columns, we would end up having to put a beam up above to support the canopy.
You will. You might think of doing a cantilever from the ceiling structure. If you can do that, that'll save you a beam.
Yeah,
You'd have to. You need to have it engineered as well.
absolutely.
Okay. Questions?
All right, Bob?
Andrew, discussion on anything in the rear of the building going to be touched?
Yeah, over time, we're planning on probably redoing the cedar shakes as well for that, but that more than likely will be down the line, and possibly a couple window replacements as well if necessary.
Okay, and then there's going to be, I see, a fence between the house
Yes.
and where the shrubs are. Is that correct?
Yes. So it'd be on the left side of the building, in between us and then the current Ford dealership that's there.
Okay, okay. And that material is going to be AZAC?
No, it will be cedar.
Oh, the fence will be a cedar fence.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. No further questions.
Okay, Doug?
I'm recused.
Oh, that's right, too. I'm sorry. I knew that right up until I asked you. Steve?
No, it seems like this is a pretty substantial project, but it looks very nice. I think it's going to be nice in the end, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Janet?
I think it looks lovely already with it, and I think it will look really nice with the changes that are going to be made. I like that hedge was already removed. It neatens up the property. I think it's a good plan. The only thing I'm wondering, should the windows, now as I sit looking at the picture, the main house is on the right side with the shutters. Should those windows be all the same?
If I can just jump in, Janet, the problem, that's a good question, and I would like to get the board's input on that. I'm assuming you're talking the 4 windows on the main part of the house.
The main building.
We certainly don't have any objection to making them all the same. And if Sam is excellent at this, what should they be, or what would the board prefer for the look?
I would prefer the upper windows be slightly, smaller, and I think the rough opening that's already there is that way. and you should follow the lead of what replace like for like.
Okay. That's what we'll do.
Okay, this is Dan Silva. I agree totally with Sam. Usually, sometimes I don't even know if you would be able to get a larger window up there because it would interfere with the rake trim.
Yeah, that was one of our issues.
I'm a little confused. This says add front door. Isn't there a front door already there?
It's faux. So right now it's basically two shutters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we wanted to just have that replaced with like a Therma-Tru standard 6-pane door.
Okay, and you're going to replace the roof shingles with
Yes.
asphalt?
Yep.
You're going to be
Do you know what
architect?
a red front
timber.
door indicates?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what a red front door indicates?
Welcome, is it? I'm not sure.
After
No,
the After the Revolutionary War, if your mortgage was paid up, you had the right to paint your door red.
that's right. Oh, that's awesome. We might have to hold off a little bit longer to paint it red.
Me too.
Okay, we just want to make sure those are architect shingles. I think I said that.
They
earlier.
are, yeah.
Okay. All right. I would just caution you on the gray because they have a tendency to bleed and run down a dark streak.
Okay.
If you look around town, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, Dan, we picked it. It's called pewter, and it's a pretty dark, but it's not completely black. So I thought
Okay.
that would be a good.
Oh, like
choice.
I said, just look around town. You'll see what happens, but that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Certainly.
All right, Doug.
I'm recused.
Oh, that's right too. Jeez, that's twice in a row. And I was doing so good, I thought. All right. Darcy, would you like to make a motion?
I certainly would. Under alteration 21-095, Chatham Manor LLC, care of Andrew Bratton. Application to alter the structure located at 791 Main Street, and the windows will be replaced like for like.
Great.
All right. Do we have a second, anybody? Sam, Bob?
Sam Schreiber will second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further questions or comments? All righty, we'll vote then. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin votes to approve.
Sam Schreiber?
Sam Schreiber votes to approve.
Bob Burns?
Bob Burns votes to approve.
Doug's not going to get asked. Steve?
Steve DeBoer would gladly vote to approve.
All righty. Janet, any further comments?
No, I think will be a nice improvement to Main Street. Thank you.
And Dan, thank you, Janet. Dan Silver approves. Very good. All right. All right, that got us through. Yeah, that got us through all that.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Congratulations.
Thanks, you.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Might take a minute or two.
Construction 21-101, Chatham Production LLC, care of Victoria Clark. Application to construct a new dwelling located at Lot 4, Annabelle Lane.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So since we were last in front of you, we decided that we think it would be best to go one house lot at a time. As we realized the last few times we met when we were doing all 4 houses, it is very time consuming and we can't get into the specific details, which we understand is what is the utmost concern, and it can be a lot at once. So that's part of the reason why we're doing it this way, as well as we did want to talk a little bit about the theater, as after we start the process with this house, we plan to release our design team and begin talks with the town as well as the proper boards, such as yourselves and the planning board, about how to develop the theater portion of the property, specifically the theater. But I believe Sarah has the specific drawings for lot 4. This is just obviously what is currently the view from Depot Road. And these are the specifications of the different details. And then this is the, this is the current drawing of the front, the north elevation of the house. So the front of the house. This lot specifically borders along the baseball field. And so this elevation is facing the north. So it is visually, will be facing the cul-de-sac.
Right. Okay, so this is the one you sent, this is the rendition that you sent in later, right?
Yes, that
That
is.
Sarah's showing us. Right, the
Yes, that
revised
is correct.
rendition. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sam,
Well, how high is the ceilings? First floor and second floor.
If you go to, so Sam, if you go to, Sarah, if you can move it to David Clark's plans, the site plans, he gives you the different grades there. Let's see if we can.
I can.
Can you blow it up on your thing?
Yeah, I'll pull it up over here.
I believe, Sam, that the first floor ceiling is just under 9 feet and the second floor is just at 8 feet.
So I'm looking into the floor plan, and I know that we do not have the jurisdiction over the floor plans, except the fact that this floor plan is so huge that it makes the building big, and that's a very big concern of mine, is that the building seems to loom over the bit bulky. The basement elevation is just a few feet above the ball field, and I think will be a complete out of place as a result. I'm not sure that the study that is 23 feet by 14 feet and has a big walk-in closet and has a bathroom will be considered a study, and that will become a bedroom. You need to make the passageway impossible to put a doorway on. So those are my comments. Other than that, I will say that I'm very impressed with the details, but I wish they were on a two-family house. That's all I have to say.
okay, Sam?
Yep.
Darcy?
I think the changes you have made are great, and I appreciate all the details that you've given us. And that's the only comment I have.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, Victoria, I think you've done a great job in refining the details. I have some other comments on the property, and I'd like to review those. It may take a few minutes, but I took some time over the weekend to walk the lots with a direct focus on lot 4 and the south elevation abutting Veterans Field of the house. Unfortunately, the lot 4 lot lines and the home placement are not staked, so I couldn't figure out where the house was going to go. However, I was able to get a pretty good idea by following the corner markers. So based on that, I'm extremely concerned about how close the home will be to Veterans Field, especially the scoreboard and batting cage. It appears that the batting cage may be almost directly on the property line. The proposed home on a long, narrow lot is a large home, 4,000 square feet with a swimming pool. The home may be even, and keep that view, the home may be even larger if the walkout basement, as shown in this picture, is finished. There's also, with the doors leading to the outside, with the possibility of a patio on the south elevation of Veterans Field. I also spent some time looking at Chatham's assessor's database, comparing the size of the home on nearby residential developments. The two that I mentioned would be Hydrangea Lane and Kendrick Harvest Lane. This proposed home on lot 4, about approximately 4,000 square feet, will be 300 to 400 square feet larger than the homes on Hydrangea and Kendrick Harvest. So it's a big home. There are no other residential homes of this magnitude in the immediate surroundings. There is the firehouse, a commercial boat supply store, bar, laundromat, liquor store, school, condominiums, real estate office, train, museum, and playground. Standing at home plate and looking out to center field with its natural backdrop, I cannot envision how this large residential home coexist with Veterans Field, with all of its activities, baseball games, with very bright lights, loudspeakers, systems, fireworks displays, etc. So this morning I went back over to the field and was met by Rob Grenier, and apparently he's the angler's maintenance person. I quickly came over and wanted to know what the heck I was doing, walking around the field and the scoreboard and the batting cage. And he asked me, "See, I understand they're going to maybe put a house here," and so he made some comments, and I'd like to share a few of them. Balls do hit the scoreboard and also go over the 70-foot light poles and hit the house. Netting could be an option. Should the house be required to have hurricane-grade windows, he had mentioned, would the town be required to install and maintain the netting? On the scoreboard, there are definite ball marks, and he had mentioned that a couple years back, they had to put plexiglass over the scoring numbers by inning because the balls were hitting the scoreboard and breaking the LCD lights. The very bright lights directed towards center field will most definitely impact the home. They are very, very bright. The batting cage, which is on the property line, one in operation with the mesh netting and pitching machine, is extremely loud. And I think that is right on the property line. The rear lights from the home will be bothersome for the hitters at home plate. And the last thing that he mentioned is there is a severe drainage problem on Veterans Field coming down from the subdivision. So those are the comments I'd like to make, and I think there's some probably pretty serious things in here that we should consider. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Hey, Bob, I'd like to address that, if I may.
Yes.
I mean, those are all, we appreciate the comments, but I can tell you this, I met with that gentleman last summer also. It was a very interesting conversation. I don't think he has qualifications as an engineer or as an architect or whatnot, to make the comments and assumptions that he's saying that things should be done. If you look at the Clark engineering plan, you can see the batting cage, and you can see the shed building that they use, and you can see the distances off the property line. So it is not right on top of the property. It is probably 10 to 12 feet off the property line. from our property. And then our buildings are set back from the property line, the additional setback requirement there. So there's probably 25, 30 feet between the batting cage and the home. The other thing to remember is the summer baseball season is a short season, and they only play half their games at Veterans Field. So it's not like there's a game there every night. The people that are going to be buying these homes are probably fans of baseball and, you know, don't mind that a baseball field is going to be right there, but also knowing that, yes, once a year there are fireworks going off in the field. Once a year at 4th of July, there's the parade will end up in the field. But we're assuming that the people that want to buy and live in this area are buying, they're going to know this, and they're going to enjoy these things. We're looking for families that want to be active in the community, and right at the ball field is a perfect place. You have the kids' baseball camp run right there. You have the playground right there. You have the summer programs at the community center right there. So we don't think that is a problem for the people that will end up buying these homes. And as far as the baseballs coming over the field into the property, we think with the trees that we're proposing to put up there, that's not going to be an issue. So again, we have to set that up so that our potential buyers aren't concerned with those things. But you know, we've already looked into the things that you've just mentioned that he brought up. Okay?
Well, let me make a comment. I believe if you look at your driveway plan, and I don't know if we have that coming off of the house, Sarah. If we can put
Which sheet would you like, Bob?
the coming from the house, the driveway plan, and in the driveway plan there is a place where you can back up.
No.
Yeah, right outside there. See this on the right there?
Yeah.
The driveway. How many feet is that? How many feet is that to the property line?
That's probably only a couple feet. It's just a turning area.
Okay, so it goes to the property line. Now, I believe that the space between the batting cage, if you look at this, the boundary, that space in there, you said it's how many feet between the batting cage and the property line?
I would say it's at least the width of the batting cage. So I don't know how wide the batting cage is.
I looked at it. I walked it up and down today, looked at the markers. I don't believe it's that wide. So, I don't believe it. So if you would have, maybe you should take the time to mark the property and mark where the home is going to be, so we can get some accurate measurements.
But well, I can tell you that I don't think Dave Clark is on the phone, but this is a actual survey of property line relation to the batting cage, relation to the building, as performed by Outermost Survey.
Okay, well, I don't believe it. The other comment is to put 12-foot trees in there is not going to prevent balls from coming into the property. So you're talking about big trees. These are only 12-foot, whatever, pine trees. But I don't believe the batting cage is not closer to the property. So those are my comments. This is a very large home. It takes up a lot of space.
Can I make a comment?
All right, Bob.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's the only other thing, Greg, is on the south elevation, the basement. There's sliders there. What's going to happen? Is there going to be eventually can the homeowner put a patio up to the property line?
Yes.
No, they can't.
Why not?
Because zoning won't allow it. So
well, why have the door? Why have the doors then?
Because they can come out there and walk up to the other area. So the grade naturally, the reason why that has a walkout is because the grade, if you look at the plan, David shows the grading, the grade naturally goes that way right now. We're not changing that grade down at that area. So this is a big drop off on this property, as you can
Yes.
see from his grading plan. That's
Yep.
existing. So he's working with the existing grades. They're gonna be able to walk out of that back area and walk up to the area where the patio is on the upper portion. On the
Okay. So there's no
north side.
walkway, nothing that's going to be there to
It's
outside
gonna
that
be gra-
grass.
It's gonna be grass, Bob. That's what we show on this preliminary plan. It's gonna be grass. The only place that's getting patio and walkway, you have the patio on the north side of the house, just opposite the pool. And on the front of the house, you have the walkways leading from the doors over to the stairs that go down to the driveway. Everything
Okay.
else is grass, planting beds, and trees.
Any consideration for shatterproof windows or netting?
The windows, so as we've been talking we met with the reps for Marvin, and they have a coastal window, which the window is designed to withstand heavy winds in coastal areas. And we are looking at that with them. So, we can check to see. And the other option is you can put glass,
Tempered.
Sam, if you can help me out, what's the glass, the shadow resistant glass that you typically put into storefronts in any area that are below 3 feet where people can kick it?
It would be a tempered glass.
Tempered glass, correct. So you can order windows with tempered glass also.
Yeah. Okay. Those are my comments. So I'm uncomfortable with the house and the size and the other things that I mentioned. And as far as this guy Rob Grenier, who I've seen around town and I've talked to, yeah, he has a speech impediment, but he's a pretty good guy and cares very deeply about Veterans Field and what happens with it. So I really appreciated his comments today. So that's all I will say about that. Thanks.
Doug?
Yeah, just a couple comments. And maybe Sarah would know this, but I believe you can put a patio down there right up to the lot line in the town if it's if it's on the ground. Is that correct, Sarah?
Yes, patios are allowed to go right up to the setback line.
Yeah.
However, because this is a commercial, it's a GB2 lot,
Okay.
they do need to pay attention to their lot coverage. We
Okay.
wouldn't be looking at building coverage. We would look at lot coverage, which is anything other than green space.
Okay. My other comment is I'm, concerned again. I think the baseballs are going to be an issue. And what would the town's liability or the Chatham Anglers baseball team or the Babe Ruth, whoever uses the field, what would their liability be towards balls hitting this house, breaking windows, damaging shingles? Once Greg sells the house and 3 or 4 years down the road, a homeowner owns it and his windows getting broken. Would the town have any responsibility for that damage? Does anyone know?
Sarah?
I don't know for certain. I can look into that and get back to you with an answer.
So I know like Eastwood Ho, the homes that line Eastwood Ho, it's in their deed that the Eastwood Ho is not responsible for golf balls should they break a window or damage a home or anything. And this is a prime spot. It's a great location, and I agree with Greg. I think the people that own it are going to be a family, enjoying the festivities there. But at the same time, I can see balls going through a window. So that was my only comment.
Thank you, Doug. This is Dan Silver. I'm going to jump in just for a minute. As far as Rob is concerned, yes, Rob is right on the top of everything. As far as the town is concerned, he's a wonderful kid. I call him a kid anyways. I'm 73, so he's younger than I am. Also, some of his comments come from the gentleman and his wife who own the house across the ball field behind the bleachers, the doctor. And in the summertime, when the games are on, they have to put the net up because they can't sit outside. And if their house has been hit many times by foul balls coming up over the bleachers and up over the cage, the backstop they have there. So they certainly go higher than 12 feet, come into the house, and they've damaged that house. I believe the CBI also has the same problem with the golf balls, Doug. I know they had a couple of years ago, they had a big problem with it. So anyways, all right. Steve, do you have any comments?
Well, quite frankly, I mean, you could put a picture of just about any kind of style, large home on this lot. And any large home is not beneficial to the town of Chatham at this point. Chatham doesn't need 4 more 4,000 square foot homes. They need affordable housing for people that are going to be able to support this town in the future. And you can put a picture of any style home you want to there, and I'm not going to be in favor of any of it. I think this is a prime opportunity to help the town of Chatham, and building 4 large homes for part-time residents is not helping at all. So I think this property as a whole can be utilized a lot more and in a lot better ways to help Chatham than with structures like this.
Thank you, Steve. Janet?
Yeah, I thought we had already established that we felt that a 4,000 square foot house was not appropriate for the neighborhood. And Bob, thank you for all the research that you did looking into the vital records to bring that to light. I think that's important. I just think it's and another thing is that the barn, the sign barn, is an old building that's going to need to be torn down to put this house on it. Do you know that how far it will obtrude into the area of the theater? And we still don't know any of that information. And in closing, I would just say that I feel the developers should be responsible for making sure that when they sell, that the town is not responsible for flying for baseballs, breaking windows, and that whomever comes into that should be in charge of placing the nets, not the town itself. And I definitely think that there should be a thick green screen between these properties and the baseball field. And that should also be on the onus of the developer. So there's my feelings.
Thank you, Janet. Someone had their hand raised. Who was it?
That would be me. The one thing I did want to point out is you mentioned something about how you don't, Janet mentioned that she didn't know the division between the theater property and the 4-lot house subdivision. That was approved by the planning board already. That is definitive, as you can see on this. The barn and the building I believe you are referring to, we got conditional approval to tear down that structure I think it was last for January.
Is she calling
I think she's referring to the barn that is on the theater property. That is, correct me if I'm wrong, that the structure that is at the end of the semicircle directly on the right-hand side. But
it's fine where they make all the signs for the theater, announcing the theater out by the street. And inside that barn are all kinds of signs painted on the wood, from the past. I would feel sad if that was just torn down and not recycled in some way. I know that you've already received is there a demolition delay in this process?
That we cannot take it down until we have something proposed to go in its place, which at this point would be the house that is on lot 3. But I do not believe that there, I don't know too much about demolition to Chatham, but I don't believe it's relevant in this situation.
Well,
Okay, Janet?
don't. Maybe you don't. If I'm right, this building is going to infringe way over that point where the barn, where the sign barn is, and that would need to be torn down, as well as a very handsome duplex building right next to it that's on a good foundation, has a good roof, and it's a lovely building. Are you planning to tear that down as well?
Yes, that was all done.
What's that?
That was given a conditional approval.
Janet, they came before the commission several times last year, and they did receive approval to take down, I believe it was 5 structures. The house at 70 Depot, the scene shop, the, for lack of a better word, apartment building, the cute one you were referring to that has a good foundation, and a couple of sheds, I believe. So they have received approval from this commission to demolish all of those structures. And they would not need to come back to the board in order to do that.
Okay, Janet, do you understand?
Yes, I feel very sorry that I wasn't at that meeting. Because I would have had something more to say about that. I feel that every time we tear down a building, what we're leaving in its place is, possible asbestos and lead, and we already have a water problem. I definitely feel that we've already been very clear about the fact that we felt that these buildings were far too large. And they're coming back and now wanting to go one by one for us to approve. I think this 4,000 square foot building is too large.
Thank you, Janet. All right, this is Dan Silver. This is Dan Silver.
Sorry.
A couple of things. Again, like Bob, I'm looking at Dave Clark or whoever it is survey. And I was a little surprised to see on it, they do list the, let's see, zoning requirements. It says maximum lot coverage is 70%. So that's your, that's your landscaping, swimming pools, things like that. And then it said maximum building coverage not available. I don't understand why. It's either going to be 15% of the lot size or it's not. Is there anybody that's going to answer to that?
Mr. Chairman?
Sarah, do you want to address that?
Yes, yes, I will. So in a general business zone, you don't look at building coverage. It is only lot coverage. So things like the swimming pool, the driveway, the house, patios, anything other than green area, grass, trees, shrubs, things like that, are counted as your lot coverage. So building coverage is not applicable in a general business zone.
All righty, thank you, Sarah. All right, and the setbacks, I'm a little confused about the setbacks. Is front yard setback is 25 feet, is that correct?
That is correct.
And the side and rear setbacks were only 15 feet?
Yes, abutting properties are 15 feet.
In my estimation, for something this size, that is nothing. That's not even a path in consideration to the size of the house. All right, on to the house.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Clark does have his hand raised.
Oh, just sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
I just wanted to clarify something. Bob talked about the existing sizes of homes on some of the other properties. So Isaac Harvey Lane is a GB2 district. One Isaac Harvey Lane has 4,314 square feet in it. 5 Isaac Hardy Lane has 3,984 square feet. 11 Isaac Hardy Lane has 3,639 square feet. 20 Isaac Hardy Lane has 4,667 square feet. 25 Isaac Hardy Lane has 3,929 square feet. And on Hydrangea Lane, 20 Hydrangea is 3,828 square feet. 17 Hydrangea is 3,622 square feet. So they do have houses that are in the range of 4,000 square feet. When we came to you previously, the homes that we had submitted were in the range of around 4,400 square feet, I believe, 4,400 to 4,500 square feet. So, and the heights on those were 30 feet. We worked with our designer, and Mark Zebra did a very nice job, as you commented, with the designs. And he reduced the roof heights, so we're at 28 feet above the average grade around. And the sizes are all below 4,000 square feet. This was the first one, because what we're looking for is this type of feedback to see what is going to be approvable on the property. We think that the design of the home, and I think a few of you have mentioned, the design is very nice. We're looking to, we understand things such as concerns about balls coming over onto the property, but I think that that's something for the lawyers to determine liability of who and which party. And you've already made a comment that on the property surrounding the golf course, it was put in their deeds that the individual landowners had the responsibility for that coverage. So that's something that's very easily resolved through a deed restriction. I think what Victoria said earlier was, what our plan here was to try to get through a process on this first lot, because once we have an approval on a first home, then we are going to engage the design team to do preliminary schematics for the theater. So we can come back in front, we have to go in front of planning, we have to come back in front of your board, and then through zoning. So that process will take some time also. But we figured by taking these homes one at a time, instead of doing all four, we're showing the community that we're willing to show that we are moving forward with a theater as this process with the houses moves to approval. Okay? Thank you.
All
Also,
right,
I did, sorry,
this is Dan Silva.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry,
this
I
is-
still got the floor, Janet. Those other houses you were talking about are not readily available like these will be. These will be completely available for what used to be the parking to watch the baseball games on Depot Street. They'll also be very visible from the ballpark itself, the seats, and they'll be visible from 28. I do know that there are houses similar to this. I'm thinking of Library Lane and Dolphin Court, I think it is. I don't think that those two have any houses this size. When you keep it down to 4 houses. My other concern is, while we have the owners here, is that looking at the south elevation, and you don't plan on doing any grading, the first thing I did, I had to look 4 times at the south elevation and try to figure out how someone got a 3-story house in the town of Chatham. That, I know Mark has dropped the height down a foot anyways, or 4 inches or something like that. But, you're still looking at a 3-story house, which is just way too massive and inappropriate for that neighborhood. I'm sorry, it's a nice design, and I agree with, I think it was Doug or Steve who said, no matter what the design looks like, that's way too massive for that area. The other question I have for the owners is, what property are you leaving, and where are you, what do you propose to do? What is your overall plan with the theater itself? If you develop houses like this on all the properties, where do you propose for them to practice? Where do you propose to have any supporting buildings on the property at all? How do you propose that this theater is to run? Where are they going to practice?
Sarah, is that an appropriate question for this discussion on home?
Mr. Chairman, we
Yes.
should keep the discussion because they have not applied for the theater as of yet. When that comes before us, then those questions could be appropriate. But at this time, when we're just discussing a specific lot where they're proposing a single family dwelling, I think we really need to keep our focus on that.
Well, I don't know. This whole thing is being done according to the owners so that they can afford to do the theater over. So I think it's appropriate, whether they have an application or not. I mean, this house is going up so they can sell it to make the money to do the theater over it. Are they not?
Yes, that is the case. I do also want to say, I know you asked about where they plan to rehearse. Part of the reason with the original theater, from my understanding, was that they rehearsed outside was because there was no air conditioning in the original theater and it was too hot. We're planning on redoing the theater and bringing it up to code, which includes air conditioning, so they can practice on the stage itself, the actual one, not necessarily outside as they did before, just because that was, I believe, more of a necessity rather than an ideal situation. And obviously, as a whole, this theater might not look as it originally did when it was run by the Hartford College, but we've been talking to different theater groups that are on the South Shore, on Cape Cod, Lake Winnipesaukee, other summer theater organizations about how they run and what they do, as we're trying to figure out how to best make this theater work, because obviously we want to make it viable for the community, whether that means it can be used year round or it can be all different things for the community to use rather than just sit dormant 9 months out of the year, because it should be an asset rather than just being something that is only utilized for a short period of time. And that's our goal with it. And how to do that is obviously very complicated, especially given the world right now with COVID and live theater performances is so complicated and trying to figure that all out. So we're slowly working through how to do that and how to best make that a possibility.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Dan, I just wanted to can I respond to your comment about the 3-story building there? The only way you take that lot and don't have an exposed south elevation is by us building a retaining wall on the property line about 8 feet tall and filling that all in, because that's the natural grade of that property. So no matter what, the backside of the foundation will be exposed. And the architect and the designer has done a nice job there, covering it with a nice stone veneer so that it just isn't a concrete foundation that's being stared at. But the landscaping plan, you're not even going to see that lower level from the field, because the tree line behind that will cover it up above the first floor, up to the few feet above the first floor level.
Well, so my other comment is, I looked at the plot plan and I don't see any area carved out for any accessory buildings or used by the theater. So I assume that none of the other lots are going to have any either, right? Parking or anything else?
Well, we don't have the design for the front done yet. So once we engage our engineers and architect to do the front design, we'll know exactly what fits out there. We don't know yet because we haven't focused on it.
So what you're telling me is you really haven't got any plans for the theater at all yet? I mean, outside of putting air conditioning in?
We have plans. It is just very complicated. And even if there was parking, we always knew was going to be a challenge, and figuring out how it best works. But in an ideal world, the theater we want to create, while the Monomoy Theater before, when it was run by the Hartford College Theater Group, had separate buildings to build sets and do different things, we're trying to build an all-encompassing theater, which I know is very different, but it is more modern in kind of the way a lot of other summer theaters kind of function. Is usually there is the barn, for example, that was used to build sets and signs, is typically now in theaters a part of the theater building itself, like a special space that's dedicated to it. And obviously, we know if we put an addition on the theater or were to add a second level, add a restroom addition, etc., or a refreshment area, we need to obviously get that approved. But trying to figure out how we can utilize the theater best, as well as the Washington Taylor House that is on the property, is something we're trying to figure out. And another thing, I know Janet mentioned about the buildings and worrying about the tearing down of them. We are looking into recycling, whether it's the materials. A few people have reached out about the possibility of taking the structures and moving them, whether they want to keep them. I know we have a few people specifically interested in the property on 70 Depot Road, which we're open to, and we're trying to figure that out. But obviously, we know we cannot tear down a building or remove a building until something is going in its place, because that was the condition of the demolition approval.
Okay, thank you very much. My only other comment was I see we didn't get a 3D rendition of the entire neighborhood, what it'll look like with all these large houses built with the theater on it. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if you did build a nice, big, huge theater like they have in Dennis, where our theater is now, then that would diminish the impact that these larger houses have on the rest of the area. And it would be nice if that theater building, if there was one, if there was enough money to make it large enough so that it would have housing for the players, would have something. Anyways, you folks do understand, your clerks do understand that we have purview over these buildings as far as size and mass is concerned. Is that correct? As well as design?
Overall size.
Dan, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said you do understand that the H.B.D.C does have purview over the size and mass of these buildings and the overall development.
Yes, we do.
Just besides the design.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I just don't want to run into that wall later on. Okay, very good. All right, that's all the comments I have for now. I'm sorry, it's I don't know if Mark did this, but that's just typical nice work. And not to be nasty, but I don't care what the radius of the curves are on the flares on the house, or and in the roofs or anything. This is just too massive for the area. I'm sorry, I can't see anything otherwise. Even with what you told me on the other houses, there weren't any large houses here, and the other areas that you mentioned don't have the same visibility that this does. So anyways, I guess that's it. What would you like from us? Sam?
I'd just like to reiterate that this whole development and this whole design idea of 4 luxury houses supporting the theater, which I'm not sure is going to happen at all. That 8 to 10 two-family houses would fit in very well on this property. Take away all the pools, you could make a nice community, and you'd have affordable housing, and I'm sure you could get funding for that and make a nice profit. That's my that's my judgment on this. To have luxury houses with 20-foot bedrooms, 20-foot living rooms, the size of these, you could reduce the size of the building 16 feet for each one of those rooms, and have something that might not be so overwhelming for the baseball field. That's my comment.
Bob?
Yeah, when I was thinking about this more, I was trying to see what else in Chatham, would be a possible good idea. And what I liked, and we had stayed there a few years ago when we were redoing this house, were the condominiums at John Gilpin, across from the fish market. They are very well done. You could put a number of those in there. They have been selling for over $1 million. They have their own pool, community pool. But that was something that was saying, okay, what's an option? And so just for your information, I think John Gilpin, that development is a pretty nice development, well maintained and pretty nice.
I did want to say, I know both Bob and Sam did point out about multifamily housing. That was what we originally tried to do, is smaller condos. We originally tried to do a 55 plus housing condominium complex, but the problem was in the GB2, that is not allowed. We had to try and create, unless we did a 40B, which is not something that is viewed positively by most towns. That's why we tried to have I can't remember exactly what it was, the overlay district that we tried to create. That's what we spent the first year working with the town of Chatham to develop, so we could do exactly this. And it was rejected by the town. So that was our original goal, was to kind of create smaller condos that would include, because of the numbers, it would have had affordable condos. They would have been 55 plus housing units, and they would have been, I believe, like small, like 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom condos. But given the restraints of the zoning bylaw, multifamily housing is not something that is easily allowed in this district or that we can do. So it's kind of in this area, other than most business purposes and single family residence, that's all we're really allowed via special permit or by right in the zoning bylaw. So it's kind of a tough position to be in, which is why we originally tried to create the overlay district.
All right, anybody? Any last comments?
that
Sarah,
fair?
what are we headed for here?
In regards to,
Are we voting or?
I guess what the best next move would be to ask for a continuation of this meeting.
I think the best next move would be.
Sarah, I'm very muffled on this end. Could you?
Yeah, so I think the next move is we're going to ask you for continuation, but we're also going to ask you to look at this again and then come back and tell us, obviously everyone on the board has an opinion and the size of a home on that property, comparing it to other properties, knowing that we're showing that you're not going to have a direct shot view from this property. Don't forget, on the north of this property is the town's property that is filled with trees. So from that side, they're not going to have a direct shot onto this property. They're going to see what they see on all the other houses around that area. You're going to see half of the first floor and the upper levels. And we reduced the roofs on purpose because we listened to you and heard you say, we don't want you trying to maximize the height of these homes. So zoning allows 30 feet. We worked with Mark to get those down to 28 feet. And it makes that house not look as large, obviously. If we have to tweak the size of the house in some, we can do that. But like I said, we can't move forward with anything on the theater till we know that we're getting something approved on at least one of these houses. And if you want us to put something in writing, because I'm hearing from you people still that you question whether we intend to do something at the theater, which we've had this discussion with the town. That shouldn't be a discussion had at these meetings, but we don't have a problem with it because all along we've been telling you, we do intend to do the theater. Hear it again, we do intend to do the theater. The theater before did not function properly. It was a losing business. It wasn't a business. They couldn't afford to maintain the property. It had health violations, code violations. And we are telling you that we are going to build it the right way so that it can function properly. If you want something in writing that says, we guarantee we're going to do that, then ask us for that and we will give it to you. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, Steve
Yes.
has his hand raised.
Yes, and so doesn't Janet. Steve?
Well, I was just going to say, I have to probably look back at the video or the minutes, but I'm wondering if one of the reasons why the overlay district proposal failed was because of the sheer number of apartments being proposed. So maybe that could be reduced some. And maybe the removing the 55 and over requirement, because, you know, I think some people were looking for non-restrictive housing, or at least housing that was not, you know, for 55 and older. They were looking for something for younger families. So maybe that whole idea could be revisited and just rewritten in such a way that would be more acceptable to the town.
Thank you, Steve. Janet, last comment.
I just wanted to make a comment about the theater. Was a very thriving summer theater business, and they rented. They rented that whole space from a private family that really wasn't maintaining those buildings. And when the town came in and said they needed to do something about it, that's when this particular family who had rented all those years and really not maintained those buildings sold it, obviously, to the Clarks anyway. But there are so many people that support the theater in town, and it was a very viable summer theater. So saying that it was failing is incorrect information. As far as I'm concerned. I have one other thing to say, because I live so close. We're very close to this building, so we know everything that's going on in and around the theater just by going out to the post office. And I've noticed again that the Taylor House is not shut. It has open areas for wild animals to get in, and we've spoken to them once before. It just is all very worrisome. I guess all of us.
I did want to say
that our
about
theaters,
the house being open is that we have a problem with people breaking in. And that's why that might be a problem, is that frequently the police are there pretty regularly.
The police are there almost every month with someone trying to break in. And they've caught some people there before. And we go down and we board it up.
Then you haven't properly shut the areas of the building that are currently open to animal and wildlife from getting into the building from underneath, because along the foundation, there are two very wide openings that haven't been shut or covered in any way, so that anybody could get into the building. That's still your responsibility.
Okay. Excuse me, Janet, I'm going to stop the conversation here, because if you want to discuss that, I think you should go to the building department.
Okay.
To the building inspector.
Okay, I will.
Right. If it's a hazard to the public, then, he can do something about it. All right. So, Sarah, where are we? I believe there was a motion to continue. Was that right, Doug?
There was no motion as of yet. It will need to be continued to a date specific. I would suggest asking the applicants what kind of timing they need. I would also ask the board, as well as the applicants, if they would like to conduct a site visit, perhaps have the house staked out, the property lines staked out. That way the board can see the topography of the lot, see where the house would be located, and potentially have a better understanding of the siting of it.
Okay, we can do that without having that in this motion, correct?
Correct.
We can communicate with them about that. That's an excellent
But I'm
idea.
asking as far as their timing.
I think that would be extremely helpful for both sides. It really would clarify something, so we're not talking over each other. That would be very nice. So we have.
So the applicant has to request a continuance to a date specific. I can give you meeting dates. I would just need to know what their thought was of how much time they would need.
The filing date is today. So the next meeting that we think.
Sarah,
yes.
Since we've already filed, can we get a continuance to the next meeting, or do we have to refile?
You don't have to refile. When the board grants the continuance, we continue it to a date specific. So if you were to be continued to the next meeting, which would be January 19th.
At 4:30.
at 4:30 PM. The packets for the board members would go out on January 14th.
Okay.
I don't know if that would give enough time for the engineer to do staking and to be able to schedule a site visit. Because
I would suggest that we just do that, and if they don't have enough time, then we'll continue it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That
they
works
would
for
just have
us.
to request a continuance to January 19th.
Further out, come to find out.
Yes.
they'll do it
Can
tomorrow.
we request a continuance to the January 19th meeting?
You certainly can. Okay, the applicant has requested a continuance of this application to January 19th at 4:30. Do we have a motion?
Doug Grant will make a motion that the applicant's continuation of the meeting to January 19th. This would be new construction 21-101 as requested.
Okay, that'll be at 4:30. All right,
Darcy
Darcy?
Seacon will second the motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All right. Further questions or comments? Anybody?
Yes, I would like to make a sort of a request from the architect or whoever drew the plans that the south addition, the south elevation is really the east, is the west elevation. They're thinking that the survey plan has the north arrow going up when the north arrow on the survey plan goes to the left. And so the elevation
Yes, he has them
mislabeled. And
You're correct. You're correct. We'll have to make those changes on those elevations.
just a bit. And
Yeah.
I think we could look at, we don't need 20-foot bedrooms in this house.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, you all
Okay, I
set?
appreciate it.
Very good.
I have
Anything
one other
else,
question.
anybody? Yes, Janet, very quickly.
I'm sorry, the map I got said Thalia's Trace. I thought it was Annabelle Lane. Where am I?
Repeat what you said. I didn't hear what you.
I thought
what
it was. I thought the this development was Thalia Annabelle Lane, and on the map that I was issuing, it says Thalia's Trace. Which is it?
It's Annabelle Lane. Oh, I don't. Oh, that is a mistake. I don't know where that actually came from. So it is Annabelle Lane. That is a mistake. We'll get that corrected. I think that might have been a placeholder name they put in back when they originally did the subdivision. So we'll get that corrected. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, anybody else? No? Okay. Motion is made and seconded. Now we'll vote. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Okay. Sam Schreiber?
Sam Stryber in favor.
Bob Burns?
Bob Burns in favor.
Doug Grattan, you can do this one.
Doug Grattan in favor.
Okay. Steve, would you be in favor or not?
I would be in favor, yes.
Okay, thank you. Janet?
I would be adjourning. Thank you.
Okay, and Dan Silver is in favor as well. Very good. Thank you, folks, for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, folks. Thank the Clarks. Very good. All right. Do we need another motion or do we have another application? I have to look at it now. I've lost.
No.
We
it.
have one more application. We have the administrative approval.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got those, don't we?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah.
All right, Sam.
I don't have an administrative approval on my agenda.
I don't either.
Oh, it's not on your agenda? I had emailed
No.
it to you. So it's administrative approval, application 21-096, Lois Castellana. Ratification of the certificate of administrative approval to repair/replace the roof on the structure located at 759 Main Street.
right,
Darcy
Sarah,
and
who-
Doug went out on this one. and
Oh, they
she was
did?
replacing the roof in like kind with pewter wood shingles.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
All right.
I move that we accept the motion, the application for administrative approval and authorize its adoption.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Further comments? Anybody? No? All right. Darcy,
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Sam,
Sam Stryber in favor.
Bob,
Bob Burns in favor.
Doug,
Doug Grattan in favor.
so Steve, would you be in favor?
I would be in favor.
Janet, would you be in favor?
I would be in favor.
Okay, Dan Silver is in favor as well. All right, very good. We have another one, Sarah?
I think she's frozen.
Yeah, she
She's
looks like she's
muted.
meditating.
Should I make a motion to adjourn?
If we have no others, I can open up my computer and see what she sent us. I don't believe we have. But I think that was the only one, wasn't it? Anybody else go out to any?
Sarah, where are you?
She's back.
There she
There
is.
she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep,
No, that was the only administrative approval we had.
very good.
yes.
All right, very good. All right, then
So
go
Doug
ahead.
Grattan will make a motion to adjourn.
Very good.
Darcy Sequin will second it.
Oh, motion is made and seconded. Darcy?
Darcy's in favor.
Okay, Bob?
Bob Burns in favor.
Okay, let's see. Doug?
Doug Grattan's in favor.
Okay, Steve?
Steve is in favor.
Janet?
In favor of adjourning. Thank you.
All right, Sam?
Sam Stryber in favor.
Okay, Bob, did I get you?
Yes, you did.
Okay, all right, so I guess that's Dan's in favor as well. Sam, I didn't forget you, right?
Nope, you didn't.
Okay, all righty, we are adjourned. Sarah, thank you
We
so
are
much.
officially adjourned at 6:12 p.m.
Thank you,
Hi,
folks.
hi, Sarah. This is
Thank
Steve.
you.